So I want to do some more dosage calculations, and I'm going to use this recommended example as well on the dosage calculations. So in this class, you are giving a conversion sheet. Please use the conversion sheet. Don't go Google your conversions, because you'll notice that different sites will give you different rounding methods. I want you to stay on the same page, and the conversion sheet that I am using is the one I pulled from the health program, so in the science department and the textbook. So I want to stay as close to the rounding methods, but as long as you know how to do the math, no matter where you go, whatever instructor or place of employment tells you to round to, you'll be able to do it because you can do the math. So I want to start off with this recommended dosage calculations, and then I'm going to do a couple without that. So on this here, whenever we're doing a dosage calculations, we're going to determine based upon what is prescribed versus what is available or the supply. But sometimes it's based upon body weight or body surface area, and then we have to look at it from the recommendation side to make sure what was prescribed to that patient is safe, because we can take a whole room full of people and say that they all take the same amount, and it wouldn't be safe for everybody, and it wouldn't be effective for everybody. So this is important. So on this slide here, I was going to talk about the recommendation of this order here. And whenever we do it, we want to determine if it's safe. And it says we have a patient that weighs 55 pounds. And the recommendation says that we have a minimum of 12.5 to 25 milligrams per kilogram. It says by mouth in equally divided doses every 6 hours. Okay, sometimes the hours don't come into play, but if we're looking to see what we are given in a single dosage, and it says that this here is divided into equally divided doses, then it's going to come into play here. So this is going to give me what is recommended for the whole day, but we need to also see what's recommended in one single setting, and that's what's going to tell us if what's been prescribed is safe. So the first thing I need to do is I see that my weight is in pounds. So I have this patient who is 55 pounds. And when we round to kilograms, it states to round to the nearest tenths. But we don't want to do that when we're trying to figure out the recommendations, because we don't want to make the number, we don't want to round too far that we can be unsafe. So I don't encourage you to round until the very, very end. However, if I said, how much does this patient weigh in kilograms, and that's all I wanted to know, then go ahead and round to the nearest tenths. What I'm going to do is put that 55 pound over 1. So that means it's one patient. And I'm going to go ahead and look for the minimum first. And I'm going to say 12.5, make sure my decimal is visible, milligrams over the kilogram per day. And if you notice, we haven't reduced the pound down. So if you want to reduce the pound down before you get in here, you can. Just be careful and don't round until we're completely done. But I'm going to go ahead and tack it on right here. I know that for every 1 kilogram is equivalent to 2.2 pounds. How did I know that pound went on bottom? Is because pound is already on top, and I need it to reduce here. Plus, I want the kilograms to reduce. And look, kilograms is on bottom, so we need it on top. And remember, guys, patient goes on top. If it's their weight or their body surface, it always goes on top. And our order or desired goes on top always. And right now our desired is 12.5. That goes on top. So now that I reduced all the units down, I noticed I got milligrams per day, and I need it per dose. So that's where we're going to come and read this part. It says equally divided dosage. So I know, and I'll over here on the side, I'm going to take the 24 hours. I know that in 24 hours we're going to administer every 6 hours. So we need to figure out how many doses is this, right? So I know every 6 hours is per dose, right? That's why I added that 1 dose over there. Well, what is 24 divided by 6? It's 4. So that means we're going to give 4 doses per day. So now that I figured this out, and you could, guys, you could come over here and do that. You could have went like this right here if you wanted to. But some people get confused when we put too much in here. We could have done this. Or, yeah. Or let me show you something. And this is why I say do it on the side. But if you want to do it right here, it's fine. I'm going to say 24 hours times, there's one set of 24 hours times 1 dose. And see what happens. The dose goes on top. So that's not what we want. So this is why it's important to set it up like this. We could have said 24 hours over Q6 H, and then said 1 day, and that would have been 1 day, and that would have told me how many doses. But again, if you wanted to, it'd be easier to just go ahead and come over here on the side and figure it out. So we got 1 day is 4 doses. So now let's go through here, and my days reduced, right? It went reduced. Now I'm left milligrams per dose. And kind of see where I was going when I go. If I was to add this in there, I'd have to be careful with this part here, because we don't want to set the unit in the wrong place. So now I have 55 times 55 times 12.5 times 1, all divided by 2.2 times 4, and this is milligrams per dose, and this is my minimum. And I'm going to do approximation because I'm going to round to the nearest hundreds. So we got 55 times 12.5 divided by 2.2 times 4 gives me, rounded to the nearest hundreds, gives me 78.13 milligrams per dose. Now we need to find the maximum, because you know, in order to determine if what the doctor prescribed is safe, we have to make sure it doesn't exceed the maximum amount. Okay, so let's do the maximum. That was the minimum. Let's do the maximum. So we're going to take the 55 let's take this. Let's change this to blue. 55 pound over 1 times 1 kilogram over 2.2 pound times, what was my max? My max was 25 milligrams per kilogram per day. And we already figured out in 1 day 4 doses. Okay, so let's go through here and let's mark the units out that we want to eliminate. Alright, so now we have 55 times 25 divided by the 2.2 times 4. We're going to round to the nearest hundreds if possible. No trailing zeros, guys. So it's 312.5 milligrams per dose. So the doctor ordered 125 milligrams, so it's safe. It did not go over the maximum amount, so this is safe for the patient. If it went below the minimum, it's just probably not effective. So we'd say yes, this order is safe. So next, I wanted to do right quick because I know some people are having questions about conversion. So I have 1 ounce, and I know that 1 ounce is equal to the 30 milliliters. So if I said that someone drank 4 ounces of chicken broth, and I want to know how many milliliters is that, we know that the conversion is 30 milliliters to 1 ounce. Well, how come I set it up this way? Because this was what I started out with. I started out with 4 ounces of chicken broth. And I said that I wanted it converted to milliliters. That means milliliters has to be on top. And in order for the ounce to reduce, the conversion must be in the denominator. So now I got 4 times 30, which is 120, and it's milliliters, all divided by 1, which is just, 1 in the denominator, so there's no sense to write that. So this is conversions. Thank you.